With the new school year fast approaching, John Yang is back to report on a controversial practice some school districts use that puts children in the middle when schools go after money owed by their parents. It's part of our weekly education series, Making the Grade.
That's right. It's controversial to collect the money that the students owe. According to PBS, that's controversial. Okay, what else does she have to say?
Millions of children across the country sit down to lunch in their cafeterias, whether it includes a scoop of tater tots or a tray of fruits and vegetables. About 20 million students, those whose household income is below 185% of the poverty line, are eligible for free and reduced price meals, subsidized by the federal government.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's subsidized by federal taxpayers. The government doesn't have a paying job. The only way they're getting that money is from federal taxpayers. Nice try, PBS.
But when other students show up without enough money to pay for lunch, school districts end up picking up the tab.
In other words, the kids are allowed to steal it.
Some 75% of school districts reported carrying meal debt at the end of the 2017 school year, some running as high as $865,000.
That was stolen.
Some schools pressure students in order to compel their parents to settle up.
Imagine that. Imagine that. The person stealing the food is the one that is right in front of you, and that's the one they're coming after in the first place. Imagine that.
A practice known as school lunch shaming.
A practice known as collecting debts so you're not a freaking thief.
A federal report said that in 2014, nearly half of all school districts had policies that singled out students for unpaid school lunch balances.
Why wouldn't they single them out? What would be the opposite of that? A school district has a policy of blaming everybody for those kids stealing their food. That's the idiocy of the world we live in today.
In May, the Warwick, Rhode Island Public School District announced on its Facebook page that any student with an unpaid balance would be served a sunflower butter and jelly sandwich instead of the school's regular hot lunch.
Why the frick are they getting anything at all? They're not paying for it. Can I just walk into McDonald's and go, I don't have enough money to buy the food. Give me the food. Oh, no, we're not going to give you that food. We're going to give you a different food. Really? I still get food? Sweet. What are we teaching these children?
That sparked national outrage.
Yeah, it should spark national outrage. How dare these people getting frickin' free food, which is stealing?
And an outpouring of donations to help cover the district's $78,000 school lunch debt.
That is a large amount of money, and donations ain't the solution. The solution is have the frickin' kids pay for the food or have their parents pack a lunch. This is not complicated.
Including $40,000 from the CBS show The Talk.
And no kid should ever have to feel shame.
No kid should ever have to feel shame. Really, coming from the person who lives in the town that celebrates shaming conservatives on a regular basis, Roseanne is no longer on the show because she was shamed. Okay, she's not a kid, but don't kid yourself that these people don't like shame. They love shame. They just want to put it on conservatives.
Earlier this month, the Wyoming Valley West School District in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Okay, that's a crazy name. Wyoming and Pennsylvania.
Sent letters to about 40 families telling them their children could be sent to foster care if they didn't pay up.
Foster care because the parents are having the kids steal. Seems kind of harsh, but okay. That's Pennsylvania.
That Pennsylvania school board has apologized for the tone of the letter and accepted a local businessman's donation to wipe out the $22,000 debt.
Once again, the kids didn't pay, the parents didn't pay, they're stealing.
The school board president had initially rejected the offer, saying it was the parents' responsibility.
Wow, listen to the way he says that. Let's do that one more time.
The school board president had initially rejected the offer, saying it was the parents' responsibility.
Well, who the frick's responsibility is if it isn't the parents? Oh my God. What is wrong with you people?
Crystal Fitzsimons is Director of School and Out-of-School Time Programs at the Food and Research Action Center, which is an advocacy group that targets hunger and undernutrition. Crystal, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Give us some idea. We heard a couple of the reactions from school districts in that piece, but give us some idea of the range of policies that school districts have around the country to deal with school lunch debt.
Right. So there are a group of kids who get free school meals. They get free breakfast and lunch.
It's not free. Taxpayers are paying for it, and they're paying a lot.
School meals. And so school districts really do have to figure out how to cover those costs. So they set fees. Kids who are eligible for reduced price can be charged 30 cents for breakfast, 40 cents for lunch.
Which means it's been determined their parents can afford the fricking food.
The other kids are charged the majority of the cost of the meal. And when families don't pay those school meal fees, then the school district has to figure out how to come up with that money, because otherwise it is actually charged to like the school district's general account. So it is a real issue for schools.
Yeah. Have the parents pay.
And what do they do? What do other schools, what's sort of the range of things that schools do to deal with that debt, to collect the debt?
Right. So I would say that the vast majority of schools are not school lunch shaming.
School lunch shaming. There it is again. So the kids steal the food, and they're the victim. Wow! This is so warped. This is so warped. Again, let's all go to our favorite restaurant, sit there, demand that we get a free meal, and if we don't, we're being shamed. Yeah. You know, this could all be solved if parents would frickin' give them money or send them with a lunch. Are there any parents involved in this case of like, hello, parental responsibility?
And your group, the Food and Research Center, FRAC as you call it, is backing legislation in Congress right now that would address this issue. What would the legislation do?
Right. So we're very excited about a bill called No Shame at School, and it was introduced by Representative Omar and Senator Smith. And that would actually do a number of things to improve the situation. First, it would make sure that there was no shaming or embarrassing activities happening in the school.
We're very excited about a bill called No Shame at School. I would be a lot more excited if you had parents not having their children steal and then somehow come out the victim. Or their parents could actually just pack a lunch. There's a thought. Because remember, it was determined by their district that they got enough money to afford bills. Not every child needs to wear Nikes. Yeah, that's what parents are for. To raise and take care of their children. You are teaching so many bad lessons. But I guess if you're a socialist, you're right on target. This idea that every kid should have a perfect, pristine life. Anybody watching this, listening to this, really, is there not a single moment in your childhood that has a speck or a flaw? How are we supposed to grow and get strong if we don't face challenges? Which means stuff that sucks. Good Lord, no wonder so many people aren't prepared to do adulting. We hope you enjoyed the content, and if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, come on back anytime. You're always welcome here as part of the family, and we'll see you in the future.